Antonio, can we just start by talking about your friendship, your relationship with Robert Rodriguez? It goes back, as far as we know, to El Mariachi, but further?
Yeah, well, I think it was the first director that I met in Hollywood after I did The Mambo Kings. And he came to the hotel in which I was staying at the time, and he started talking to me about a possible sequel of El Mariachi. But at the time, I didn't see El Mariachi, and I asked him, and he says, "Yes, that's a movie that I did with $7,000." And I thought, "Woof, this kid may be a little bit nuts." But I went to see that. I think it was the same afternoon. I went to Sony Pictures, and they showed me the movie. It was amazing. I couldn't believe that this guy did that movie with $7,000. So, like a year after, the script came of Desperado, and we started working together. And I discovered a guy who became my friend, a very natural man without any kind of problems, just loving basically movies to death, and loving his family the same way. And right after that, we did 4 Rooms, and we became friends. Though Robert Rodriguez, I think, is not very much into the Hollywood world. He doesn't like so much to live there, so he moved to Texas, the place where he is from, and he put together this kind of production company in Austin, where he got an old airport where we shot the movie, Spy Kids, and he want to shoot everything that he's going to do in the future. He's a very special guy. He's a very different person to any other director that I have met, and we became very good friends. So anything that he asked me, I will do.
Is there a sense that you're always looking for projects that you can do together? He to look for stuff for you and vice versa?
I don't think it's so much like that, but I definitely, if he finds a project in which there is a character that fit me, he's going to call me.
And Spy Kids is clearly one of those. They say there are no small parts, only small actors. Did you have no hesitation at all in, the kids rule, don't they, in the film?
Yeah, I mean, you know that the kids are the stars of the movie. That's very clear. But I wanted to work with my friend again, and I wanted to do a movie for my baby, Stella, who is 4 years and a half, and I wanted to do something original and different. And I was not following the pattern of movies for kids in Hollywood in the last 10, 15 years, which is practically a repetition of the same thing again and again. And this was something completely different. This movie is actually like you take Mission Impossible or James Bond, and you make a movie for kids out of that. Austin Powers, actually, and it's quite surrealistic too. And at the same time, it's a movie that is very appealing for kids, and he also calls parents. They're not going to have this kind of yawning situation when they're watching a movie with their kids. They're going to have fun with it. And one of the things that happens in the first weekend in America, which surprises us very much, was the fact that people without kids were going to see the movie, fans of Robert Rodriguez, and they enjoyed it. So it's a movie that plays for many audiences when the movie was thought to be for kids from 4 years old to 11, 12. Maybe.
Well, I enjoyed it enormously, and I was thinking I wasn't expecting to enjoy a kid's movie.
Right.
And then it occurred to me that when I was a kid, the movies that Hollywood were dishing out were slightly patronizing to children.
Right.
And, now they allow an intelligence and a sense of humor, and they allow the child to have some
to go a little bit
reference.
further,
Yeah.
But that is a problem that Hollywood always has. Not with movies for kids, with movies for everybody. When a formula works, they're going to try to squeeze the formula until the end. So they repeat it again and again. There is a very little amount of risk in just. I suppose it is also because the money that Hollywood use and still now spend in movies, is so big that the people get really scared. So money and art is probably a difficult combination. Well, here we have a guy like Robert that decided just to jump the fence and say, hey, we can do something new from scratch. We're not going to base this movie in any kind of cartoon character or character that we have seen before, or any fairy tale that is very famous in the mind of parents, basically, just to tell the kids a story. Let's just try to do something different in which the kids are witty and sharp, and they talk intelligently to each other, and it's quite different. And that was one of the things that attracted me to the movie.
So when you started reading the script, at what point did you know that you were safe? You know that this really was the type of film you just described.
I think that in the first, when I read the first kind of video clip of how was the relationship, mommy and papi, before they got together, when they were spies, that made me laugh very much. You know, just jumping with the parachutes, becoming hearts, and just seducing each other in bars, and you know, that all that side I knew, because Robert Rodriguez doesn't explain everything on the script. The script is a pretext to work. And you build the characters, you build everything in the movie on the set. And I knew when I read that, so, oh my God, this is on the hands of Robert Rodriguez, this is going to be very funny. We can have a lot of fun with this. And that's the way it was. You know, knowing him, I knew immediately after 15 pages that I was in.
And he's such a great visual stylist, and the people who work for him. I mean, it looks like Terry Gilliam, Baron Munchausen. The design of the thing is staggering. Was that implicit in the script, or was that something that the production designer brought to?
No, that was something that surprised me completely. When I arrived to the set, especially because he got this kind of connection with Spanish architects, all these guys in Barcelona like Gaudí, you know, all the modernist era in Barcelona, these kind of melting buildings, that surprised me. It's kind of tendency to Gothic that is not common in movies for kids. The set was marvelous. I mean, we had a lot of fun with the set, you know, with all of these machines and all these buttons. And what this means? Nothing. You just push there. And it was great, you know. And for the kids, every kid that was playing in the movie, not only just the kids starring, but all the amount of kids that appear there like robots in the middle of the movie. They were all playing all the way around. When I took my little baby there, or Robert kids, you know, the three of them playing all day long. It was almost like an amusement park. We were going to work in an amusement park full of gadgets, and you can use almost everything that you had around, you know. It was great.
I was interested in the fact that you said that you wanted to make the film for your daughter. It was the same as big names animate the Disney films. They want some sort of immortality for their children to see them. But Rodriguez is also from a huge family, isn't he? And you have your own as well. How does that sort of strike you when you're making a film like this? It must be very much in your mind that you're making for your own audience in a way, aren't you?
Yeah, because you know, Zorro is a movie for kids, but not this type of kids. You know, it's a movie for teens, and it's a movie for adults too, because there's romance going on, there's some action, and so I showed one day Zorro to my little Stella, she's 4 years old. And she lasted 10 minutes. You know, she saw the horse. Yeah, but when the horse disappeared, she was not interested, you know, to see this guy going around. But so, yes, I had in my mind, you know, I got to do something for my kids that they can remember when they are older, you know. When my little Stella is 20 someday, you know, I'm going to be 60 or whatever, she can say, I remember when I saw you, Papi. I was so little, you know, and you told me you took me to this movie and you showed me that movie and you were in. You know, I want her to have that Papi's memory on the screen without doing a movie for adult people, but a movie for her in some way.
And has there been a cast and family screening? Robert?
I wasn't there because I was working in Paris. Mommy took Stella, my little daughter, and my stepdaughter, who is 11 years old. And actually, they were fighting the whole entire morning. So she took them to the movies, and like a magic medicine thing, they came out of the movie absolutely bond, and they were bond together ever since they saw the movie, probably imitating the characters, Junie and Carmen, the kids' characters in the movie. So it got also a therapeutic effect on them.
And there's talk of a sequel being greenlit. Is that true?
Yes, this is something that actually is. They start thinking about the sequel even before the movie opened, which is not surprising for me. It's just it tells you, you know, that the studio really believe in the product that they did from the beginning. I don't know. I suppose that they had some tracks all the time. At that time, you know, some polls that were doing these cars with the people and things like that. But we were so surprised at the movie. We knew that we were going to open big, but not that big. And you have to think that in a movie like this, a movie for kids, you pay half the price. So if you put together the amount of people that went on the first weekend to see this movie, it's something like 7-8 million people in 3 days. It's very, it just makes you dizzy almost, you know.
Long may it continue. Thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Bye-bye.